Americans have read it. What do Europeans have every day that you see as a luxury? Where to begin? You can summarize it as an actual first world existence. Such things as universal health care, strong social institutions such as labor and leisure and retirement and parent leave, all underwritten in a way that prevents runaway inequity in a two-class society. Walkable, bikeable and more sustainable cities which have robust public transportation within and between them, meaningful guarantees around privacy and online surveillance. Married to democracy. The US has some things going for it of course, but if you could pick only one. I ate way more lamb living in the UK than I have in the States. I rarely ate beef when I was there. I wish I could do that here, but it's sparse in my neck of the woods. Proper dinner and kebab shops. All that shit puts our late night, drunk foods in America to shame. B-days. Sensibly sized homes. Less gas-guzzling mega trucks. Funnier tabloid rags. All of these things may seem trivial, and not a luxury, but I'm easy to please. Just give me a fat kebab, a bidet for what happens after, and the quality of my life would probably up my morale by 4 or 5 points. Everything is within walking distance. No really. Our towns are designed so that people live way on one side and all the shops are way on the other side of town. Like 3-4 miles away. Almost like we're being forced to have cars or something. Also in 2006 I spent 6 months walking and biking every day to and from work. That was a nightmare. I never had time for anything. People made fun of me. Which was ironic because I was the most fit out of everyone I knew. We just don't have the luxury of time in the US to walk massive distances expected of us. Affordable and effective public transit. I love visiting Europe. I can pop on a streetcar, bus, or underground and get to where I need to go. No dealing with traffic. No money for gas, no worry about being late. Europe public transit is very time efficient. Not just speaking of city public transit either. For the price of a tank of gas or two in America I can pop on a train and go through 3 countries. Not to mention Japan's public transit with the Shinkansen. Couple hours and you're hundreds of miles away. It's wonderful and very easy to do. I am torn on this as I have lived over 20 years in the EU and US. From the EU I miss chocolate, unpasteurized cheese, French wine, good public transport, football, soccer, historical castles. If I had to move back to the EU I would miss the size of house I could afford in the US, weather compared to UK, beaches, national parks, and generally the cost of things you can purchase. Most Europeans don't appreciate how big the USA is, and that when I fly from the Northeast to LA it is the same as going from London to Moscow by cable cities. When I lived in Munich it was a paradise for biking. I could take my bike almost anywhere in the city and region without much concern and I love doing it. Not every city in Europe is like that obviously, and Munich is probably one of the best, but almost every major city I visited in Europe had a lot of people on bikes, and good infrastructure for it. Also intercity rail and bus travel. The US has both of course but just not in the same league. I'm European but an American friend of mine told me about the food quality in the US and honestly, with that food it's no wonder everyone is either obese or anorexic. Second thing she mentioned healthcare, it simply makes no sense for it to be a threat to call an ambulance. Even if someone can afford an ambulance, can anyone explain to me how a country where it's more affordable to take a flight overseas to get your simplest health procedures can possibly function? The quality of food. Specifically the lack of preservatives and other unnecessary chemicals. The various regulatory bodies appear to have public interest above corporate lobbying. Food spoils faster, but since a grocer is right down the street, you can just walk and get a fresh loaf of bread etc. Also the music festivals, Wacken, Download, etc. B-days. Man, toilet paper doesn't really get rid of poop or pee fully, it just smears it. It leads to stains, smell, bacteria, growth, and possible infections. I have been using a bucket for a while to clean my butt after I poop but I really just wish that bidets were normalized in America so I could actually properly wash my booty after I go. Safe, walkable communities with social cohesion free from oppressive laws restricting things like alcohol and dancing. Oh, and comprehensive social safety nets with strong labor laws, so that workers do no feel chained to their employer in order to literally survive. That lack of stress literally adds yes to your life. Job security. In the EU, there are certain rules employers must comply with for terminations, including advance notice. There is also a works council process in some cases that employers must comply with before layoffs can take place. In the US, They can pretty much terminate you same day in many cases. Meat not injected with hormones, fruit and vegetables not soaked in pesticides, bread not made with bioengineered food ingredients. Most groceries in US filled with food additives and zombie oils. Unless you're rich, and even then you have to read every label carefully. Also, universal healthcare. Cost of living. I live in a high cost of living area in the USA, and the countries I have visited in Europe, Scotland, Ireland, Spain, France, and Italy felt so cheap and made me feel like a kid in a candy store. This may not apply to some of the Nordic countries that I haven't visited. Public transport. I live in a rural area in the Midwest and public transport is basically non-existent. Anytime I see maps like this, all I can do is hope we somehow get something like this one day. I would travel all the damn time. Unity. When protests happen over shit in Europe, it's always serious shit, never frivolous, and everyone protests, it's never a few folks with signs and bullhorns. Europeans know how to get their governments to listen to them and force the change they want. The ability to fly out to major world cultural and historical sites for just a weekend and have it cost relatively little. I did a study abroad program in London, and the ability for me to book a weekend trip to Berlin on Ryanair for like £40 never got old. I am not American, but France have the best newborn new post-pregnancy help in the world. Actual physical help, not referrals and information leaflets. Someone even does your grocery shopping for a wee bit when you have a baby to help you with time management. Autobahn, working culture, being able to bike or walk everywhere, free healthcare, alcohol. Edit also adding the fact that it's easy to travel to multiple countries in a short time. Takes forever to drive around the US to get to another state. American who lives in Germany here. My answers. Walkable cities, good public transit, affordable healthy food, better quality than ours. 2. Healthcare that isn't obscenely priced, abundance of vacation days. Quality flour. I buy French and Italian flour and have it shipped to bake with because the stuff in America gives me X-Man joint pain, but I am not celiac. Whatever the difference is, it's legit. Free healthcare. Free university. Free dental. 3 years maternity leave. 35-hour working weeks. Extremely low crime rates. 6 weeks per year vacation. Very good drivers. A few small things. Fewer additives in their food. There's a reason I lost 19 pounds when I studied abroad in London. The only way I was able to lose weight in America was through weight loss surgery. Not American, but Canadian. I'm jealous at Europeans that can drive a few hours and be in a totally different country. I can drive for 3 days straight and still be in Canada. Food that's not ultra-processed garbage. Friend of mine went to Germany and ate like a pig. She actually lost weight because Germans don't put a pound of sugar in everything. The ability to quickly and cheaply travel to so many diverse countries. It's a 4.5 hours flight for me to California. You could be anywhere in Europe in way under that. The Swiss have an immaculate country. Even the shadier looking teenagers were picking up trash off the ground. I was amazed by just how much they respect their country. The bread. Coming back from Germany recently, and all the bread back home in the US feels like I'm chewing on a kitchen sponge instead of giving my jaw a workout. Pretty sure some European countries have free university and that sounds nice. I wouldn't mind going back and learning more skills, but it's crazy expensive here. They don't have to pay to have their kids delivered, and don't have to beg their bosses for more time off to help raise the children, especially the mothers. I found cycling through Amsterdam in July to be absolutely amazeballs. An 18-wheeler making a right turn in front of me actually yielded to me. It was wild. Chocolate. I lived in Finland for a bit at 18, and their basic phaser chocolate made a Hershey's taste like wax. They had no idea how much better it was. More time off. When my wife gave birth to our child, she had to use all her vacation and sick pay as maternity leave. This was a government job. Economical diesel cars that go like a scalded dog. I drove a couple while in Europe and wished I could have brought them home. Power and economy. I haven't lived in Europe for a while, so maybe it's changed, but at bars, there were always free peanuts. In America you have to pay for those. I heard Americans are envious of our cycle lanes and footpaths. Not sure if that's true, but we have loads and we take them for granted. Mandated vacation time, social welfare systems, walkable cities, functioning mass transit, democratic socialism, culinary traditions, broad architecture, lots of great food, exposure to a bunch of different cultures and languages without having to take a long flight. Walkable cities. I can move somewhere walkable within the US, but it would be 5 times more expensive than living in my suburb. Time off for sure. I get 0 time off per year. I can take time off but it's unpaid, which is pretty much like punishment. High-speed rail everywhere. If the US put money into HSR, the airports and roads would not be too damn overcrowded. Fresh food, good coffee, beer, and wine everywhere. Effective affordable mass transit. Good growth management. I had to pay $3,000 after insurance to deliver my baby. Delivering for free or low cost seems like luxury. More vacation time. The ability to access public transportation or to walk to the store. Free healthcare. Comprehensive train system. Local, regional, nationwide railways. It's just common sense for many reasons. Food not filled with crazy chemicals. A lot of additives allowed in the US or banned in other countries. Not having to worry about mass shootings anytime you drop your kid off at school or take them in public. Healthcare, parental leave, time away from work, good public transportation. You know, nothing major. The ability to get significant healthcare without the fear of immediately becoming massively in debt. Being able to walk to the shops, gym, school. Just fucking walking anywhere without needing a car. Americans work too much and our fashion sucks. Europeans get in right in both of these departments. I'm a bit envious of your public rail transport lol, but then I remember how much your petrol is. Car-free and plane-free transportation options that are healthier, more convenient, and cheaper. 6 weeks vacation, extra pay just for vacation at least in Germany. Government healthcare. I'm upset that B-days aren't common in homes, hotels, and apartments over here in the States.